Hello, everyone. So today's presentation of mine is actually on digital citizenship. It's a topic which I've been reading about from years. If you just Google it or YouTube it, you'll have thousands of presentations on that. But what I've always felt was certain topics were difficult to understand, or they're being put in a very complicated manner to explain to children what actually you mean by digital citizenship. So my entire task for this presentation, and in fact, I request all those teachers, students, especially this is meant for students at a very young age. If you see this presentation, it can actually help you in protecting yourself online, as well as parents. What's their role in making their, children a very respectable digital citizen? And of course, the teacher's role is always there. So my entire task was to make it very simple for you to understand. And some of the points you are aware of, certain points you may not be aware of. So make sure you go through the end till the end of the presentation to understand what actually I mean by digital citizenship, what does it mean, and how can it help you, in your life or throughout your lifetime. So I will share my screen. I'll put forward a presentation here. Okay. So this is a presentation, as I said, is for teachers, students, and parents. And my entire task was to highlight to you as how could the school, try and explain to students this topic. Now, what is a digital citizenship, right? So my definition of digital citizenship is an act of being safe online, which some of you are aware of. How do you be safe online? Be smart online, be kind online, be responsible online, tech savvy online, and healthy online. Now, if you see all these points, we all relate with these points, right? Day to day, we hear about how do you be safe when you travel outside, how do you go to your school, and how do you have to be smart, how do you have to be kind, to be responsible, healthy, and obviously tech savvy is added here because it is used, technology is used in every field today, so we have to be aware of how the technology can be used online, how you have to be safe online today when you're using it. So that's my definition of digital citizenship, and we will go through the points one by one. So the first point being is being safe online. Now we are all aware that we need to have a strong password, right? But when your children start using internet, a lot of people actually don't emphasize about the password. A lot of students actually start putting their names as password, combination of their pet names, combination of their phone number as password. So they should be actually be trained not to do so. It's always a good password is actually a paraphrase, like a sentence you have which you remember, and just pick up the first you know character from each word there and add certain numbers there. Avoid writing the password anywhere. I know sometimes we do forget, but avoid writing it anywhere. A lot of you actually forget to also put in a password question. Now, if you have a very complicated password, it's very important that you always, or even if you don't have a complicated password, if you feel you always remember also, make sure you always keep a good lost password question. It's a good practice. Always do so. If I was you, I would never use the public Wi-Fi. I know sometimes we are used to, going to a mall and start using the free Wi-Fi. But I would never use a free public Wi-Fi for e-commerce shopping. That's where you're entering your credit cards, debit cards, net banking. I would never do that because it's very much possible to hack your information when you're on a free public Wi-Fi, which is not very secure. So avoid using it for all your card transactions. One of the new things which has started off late for past 1-2 years is the two-factor authentication. Some of you have heard of it. Some of you have not heard about it. Is that in a two-factor authentication, the first authentication or the first level of security is your password, which you set, a strong password. And a second level of authentication is your mobile OTP, which is like a one-time password, which you get on your mobile phone, or your email that, okay, once you are logged in with your password, the second password you to enter is, which comes in your another device like a mobile phone. It's a good way to protect. A lot of banks have two-factor authentication today to protect your money in the bank being hacked away. And the last thing I would always remember is to sign out of a public computer. Now, suppose you go to your school library or you go to a public computer, like in a hotel or anywhere you travel. So make sure you always sign out, because for certain minutes your session is valid. So it's a good practice to make sure that you're logging out of the computer once you're done with the work. So that was your first point, being safe online. Now moving to the second point, being smart online, right? Like, how do you be smart online? So it's a virtual world, right? All of you know it's a virtual world. Anything can happen in this world, right? A boy can be a girl can be a boy can be an old man can be an old woman. So you don't know what you trust because you cannot see anybody. It's an invisible world there. So make sure beforehand you just don't trust anything quickly there. Remember, when it's too good to be true, be wary that it may not be true. So always note, don't share your personal information, your personal photographs, your bank information, your financial information to anyone whom you don't know, right? Even if you know someone, again, it's not a good practice to share a lot of your personal photographs. They can be misused. You must be seeing around you so many of photographs, text, your information can be misused. So just be wary of it. You also need to understand that what is actually a phishing scam, right? Or an email scam. A lot of you must be receiving SMS like you won like 1 crore in a cash prize. Contact this phone number or email with your details. Now, basically, what does phishing mean? Now, phishing is something wherein a, a copied site, or a site which is actually not a correct website, right? So what the scammers will do is they would make a copy of your bank site, for your example, and they would say, okay, send you a message that you won a prize, log in onto your bank, site to get the information, and would give you a wrong link there on your SMS or email you receive. Now, when you click on that link may look like it's your bank site or your any random site, and you might actually end up entering your username password there. Now, these are all phishing sites. It's very common your data getting, your username passwords getting hacked that way. Now, how do you actually protect yourself? It's very simple. You would see on your web browser where you've got the address bar. On the left side of it, you'll see an HTTPS link. Make sure the site you visit where you do transactions, financial transactions, and also your emails, what you use, have HTTPS icon. All the secure sites have HTTPS icon with a lock on the left side. The URL, the address, what you see on the top bar, has to have the site you're visiting. Now, suppose you are visiting gmail.com, you have to make sure you're seeing gmail.com. You're not seeing something like xyz dot, make sure the domain, certain people might also add in domain Gmail, but make sure the HTTPS link itself has gmail.com properly visible there. Not like a subdomain, like a second party domain which is just adding Gmail name there. So it's very important you understand the concept of HTTPS there. Don't write down your, your net banking, your credit card passwords openly anywhere. I mean, they can be taken away by anyone if you don't have two-factor authentication there. So make sure you do have that set, as I mentioned in my first point. Make sure when you're shopping on e-commerce sites, you shop at very secure sites there. Don't just openly use your credit card, net banking, passwords anywhere on any random site there. So that was been about safe, smart online. Moving to the next, being kind online. That's the third point. Is It's one of the biggest problems today. What everybody faces is cyberbullying, right? Like people are invisible, people are on the other side. People post unwanted comments. They comment on every possible thing because they are invisible. It gives them more power to talk anything they like. But what they don't understand is the after effects of cyberbullying. It's very important as a teacher, as a parent, you explain to children that words are very powerful, right? They can hurt somebody, they can, hurt them so badly that it affects their thoughts, their self-esteem, and everybody should refrain from getting personal online, talk some wrong, send in some wrong text there. Always remember before you send a message, is it needed? Is it kind? And most important, is it inspiring? Avoid getting personal, as I said. Avoid the website trolls. Avoid trolling on Twitter, going to any, like a celebrity, going to someone you don't like, or, on their profile and start posting abuses there. It is not a good thing to do. It's a kind of bullying there, as I mentioned, and it doesn't stop if you don't learn at a very young age how harmful it can be. If I was you, I would also refrain from posting unwanted negative political thoughts there. It's better you keep it to yourself. Posting it online would make sure that it stays there online forever. It can create a problem for you later on in your life. So make sure you avoid that also. Remember the golden rule here. Don't say something online. I repeat, don't say something online that you wouldn't say to someone's face. Now that's quote from North 2011. So remember, don't say something online that you wouldn't say to someone's face, when you're in person meeting them. So moving on to the next, being responsible online. The fourth point, as I mentioned, out of the 6 points I have laid down to explain to you on digital citizenship, is we all know internet is a sea of knowledge, right? And not everything what you have on internet today is true. It can be fake, it can be true. So make sure you understand what is fake news. I think the biggest trouble everybody, the government has today, or a lot of people around us is the fake news. Somebody makes a news, posts this online, people think it's true, they start forwarding them. One thing leads to another thing, second thing leads to a third link. So make sure you be responsible. You don't forward fake news. You make sure whatever you read, the similar thing you're reading on valid news sites, valid sites which have confirmed news, make sure you read the word confirmed news. Uh, Always check 2 to 3 sources for the information what's coming in there. It's always good because certain people just for fun start putting in fake news. So that was the first thing in being responsible online. The second is as a student today, as I mentioned before, internet is a sea of knowledge. You've got huge amount of resources online. Make sure any information you use in your presentations, you cite the information, you give the credit of the information to the author and his website. It's very important. It's his hard work. He should get due credit. He's put the information free for you, but don't just copy it and don't give him the credit of it. Finally, understand what plagiarism is. It's a fraud. You cannot just copy anybody's information and post it or use it in your presentation by saying that it's your own, research. It's your own information. It's not correct. It's not. It's a fraud, as I mentioned, and you cannot pass it as your own work. So that was my points on being responsible online. Moving to the fifth one, again, which is very important, is being tech savvy online. All of you are young children. At a very young age, if you start posting any unwanted information, remember when I say information you post, make sure anything you post, let it be your text or photograph, your parents, your grandparents have to be proud of. So make sure before you post anything, whether your parents would be proud of that or not, right? So in short, make sure you leave a digital footprint of yours, a positive digital footprint. I mean, everything you do or you've done till date is trackable and it would remain forever. You will find it difficult to get it deleted. Remember that. Certain sites you could delete on your own, certain sites you cannot delete on your own. Your opinions you share are your personal opinions, right? So why not keep it with yourself? You share information which makes people happy rather than making them unhappy there. Today, you might read all the employers are looking at your social media profiles, your postings, what you do. Your jobs are related to it today. So just as you maintain your reputation offline when you meet people in person, it's very important that today you maintain your a good online reputation. It's very important. It is you all who would make web safe. It will all you all would make it safe by creating boundaries and by being kind online. That's very important. I always emphasize it's very important to be kind online. You might be kind offline, but don't just not be kind online. Finally, which all of us ignore, I think 95% of people ignore this. I was reading an article that on an average today a youngster is spending 9 hours on screen. That's brutal. 9 hours on your eyes, on your back, on your arms, your fingers. You sometimes don't give them breaks, right? So it's very important to understand the digital health and wellness is how it is important. Remember, too much of everything is harmful to you. It's very important that you take digital breaks. Uh, you need a good chair to sit on. If you're on the computer, you're sitting on a chair, make sure it's on in line with your eyes. The screen has to be in line with your eyes. You make sure you have uh, a good monitor, which you can reduce the brightness there. Use anti-glare screen to some extent. You would use anti-glare glasses if you're wearing specs. But it's very important to take breaks from sitting on chair, get away for short walks, because as I said, too much of everything is harmful to you. Maintain a healthy posture, and remember, excessive use of social media is also an addiction. Like how cigarettes, alcohol, or anything you do in this world, or different kinds of addictions people have, social media, surfing online, playing games online is an addiction if you don't know how to control it at a very young age. So make sure you look into these six mantras I spoke about. It's very important as a responsible human being. If you want to be a responsible digital citizen, you understand how these all things work. And I was not going to add this slide, but looking at the situation what we have today, the COVID-19 situation, this presentation has been made during that phase. I have, as a technology head for a group, seen a lot of schools, teachers, parents going through a tumultuous time in having an online session, an online teaching session by a teacher. Make sure you understand each of your roles there. If you're a teacher, make sure you, if I was a teacher, I would have started with a session on digital citizenship first with them. Is what are the do's and don'ts when they are online with the teacher there, right? You have to lay down the rules there. Just as you have rules in your classroom, there has to be rules for online environment. If you are a student, you have to maintain decorum of your online classroom, right? Don't be mischievous and try and get fun out of sharing your credentials outside your classrooms and let a stranger or your friend coming in spoiling your online session. You should not also share your school portal username password to them. It can be misused. There is a lot of confidential information what the school shares with you. It may not be a good idea to give it outside there. It can be misused. Remember that, children. And if I am a parent today, if my children are young, right? You are a parent. You are taking care of them. Make sure you monitor your students' activities online. I'm not saying you spy on them. It might be not good for their privacy. They might need their privacy, but make sure you know what they're doing online. Make sure what kind of messages they're posting online, what kind of pictures they're sharing online, what kind of anti-political comments they're sharing online, because they may not understand, but these are all serious consequences. You have to lay down set of rules at home for usage of internet, usage of excess of internet. You have to also monitor the sites they view sometimes. Online gaming, as I said, too much of excess of everything is a problem today. So everybody has their own role in making sure that if the online teaching continues, which I feel will continue even when we move back to offline teaching, which is good because you get to study more at your own time, but everybody has to follow a certain set of rules there. Now, I would like to end with a quote which I have prepared myself. Is we are a part of the digital world in the real world. So let's make it safe, kind, and happy. I would like to cite resources I have used. commonsensemedia.org. I went through the Google Digital Citizenship course. I looked into the 9 elements of digital citizenship of history. And this beautiful template is from Slides Carnival. Photographs are from Unsplash, whatever used in this presentation. I would like to thank you all. If you have any questions, my email ID is here, anandchavla16@gmail.com. I would be more than happy to interact with you in case if you have any feedback on this presentation, in case you want to let me know, is there anything I missed or anything you liked in this presentation? I would be more than happy to have some kind of interaction on you. Make sure it's an important topic and all of you go through it in your spare time. It's a little big presentation, but it's the starting point. Whenever you start, in usage of internet for children, computers, it's very important as parents, teachers, you explain them what is a digital citizenship. Thank you. Thank you so much.